Hi, everyone. Happy Friday the 13th, and welcome back to Naylo's Thrift Talk. I'm Lola.
And I'm Nay.
And I hope you guys caught our in the middle of the week video yesterday that we uploaded. It was a little bit of our thoughts and reactions to eBay Open, which was the reason why last week we didn't have our regular episode at the regular time. So thanks for everyone tuning in today, and we missed you, and we're glad we're back. Nay, do you want to introduce what we'll be talking about today?
Yeah, so on 2 weeks ago, we actually had to postpone our show on Friday because of eBay Open and some conflict with their scheduling on their end with the times. But Jason was a great pop-in guest the last show, and he shared so much great information about his Herman Miller chairs that he had thrifted, and also some lighting and a little bit about art. So we only got to number 3 on our list. So this is going to be, so we did the Eames Herman Miller chairs, and we did the MCM lighting. So we will pick up today on the Flatware, MCM Flatware. So yeah, so but first we will get into our usual segments. So what thrifted item are you wearing today, Lola?
Well, I had the opportunity to do some thrifting last week, and we are going to do a full thrift haul because I got some great stuff, but I thought that I would do a little sneak peek because I was really excited about one item I found in particular that will be my home decor. And since I was going to use that, I figured I'd also wear something that I picked up during my thrifting last week. So this is a new to me thrifted top from Madewell, which is a shop that I really enjoy, and I just like the clothes are, generally pretty well made and comfortable for the summer, lightweight and breezy, and I just figured that it was a chance to wear this shirt. So
definitely cute.
How about you?
I am wearing, this is a vintage 90s. It's early 90s, and I forget the brand. It's like Art something. It's some off brand, but it is kind of like a long tunic top. And I thrifted it a while ago, and I'm wearing it today because I think I paid like $3.99 for it, but I'm wearing it today because of the fact that it reminds me of a mid-century modern painting. So
a little bit. Yeah, I see that.
Yeah. And then my earrings, if you can see, are like, they're actually shells. They are super heavy. They're sterling and shells. These were from shopgoodwill.com. I won a sterling lot, and these were in it. And I'm very happy with the quality of these earrings.
Nice.
They are vintage as well.
Very cool.
And our next segment is our thrifted home decor items.
You want to go first?
So Lola, oh, sure. That's fine.
Take turns.
I might be a little delayed today. I'm sorry if we talk over each other a little. I think I'm on a little bit of a lag for some reason, so I apologize if so. So this is mid-century. It is vintage, and it's a needlepoint. It does have some damage on the back of it. Like, it's mounted on cardboard. It has a little bit of water damage on the back, but it is really pretty. And it is something I keep meaning to frame. I just haven't gotten around to it. I am going to keep it. I'd like to hang it somewhere, but I just haven't gotten around to it yet. But I thrifted this a long time ago I probably paid like $5 for it.
So pretty. And someone put so much time and effort into making that. So it's nice that it gets to still be
it's so well
done. Yeah. So this item was something I found in an antique store in New Hampshire, and I saw it on the shelf and I just had to have it. It is a miniature sewing machine. So it was made to be a child's toy. And at one point, and it was not nearly as rusted as it is now, it was a working sewing machine. So nobody would have actually been sewing a full garment with this, but a child might learn how to use a sewing machine to begin with and do some simple seams and pretend that they're making something more elaborate. So as you can tell, it has a really beautiful design, and it is Art Deco. It probably does date to the 20s based on the limited research that I have done on it. The brand is called Kasiji, and the logo is there. It's German. And I was looking at comps, not that I'm going to sell it, just out of curiosity. And they do range quite a bit. Like this one is not in great condition. It is quite rusted. But the ones that are in better condition look like they're worth $150, $200. So definitely something to potentially keep an eye out on. If you're at an estate sale or something like that, you might be able to find a similar item. So
very cool.
This will be part of my decor for my sewing area in my office.
Awesome. And our next segment is, so I have a couple entries for this. Actually, these are both my listings that sold this week. So I told you, Lola, about this one. So Sue Wong dresses, for some reason, they're just not selling as well for me lately. Like the brand it's a high-end brand. And I get excited at the thrift store when I find them because they are gorgeous. She's a really talented designer. I love her designs, but they just don't go for as much. And I had this up forever, and I finally accepted a best offer of $34, but I was surprised that it actually sold because it's been sitting forever. So
yeah, I definitely noticed that too, that the prices seem to have gone down, but they're one of my favorite dresses to find. It's always makes me excited when I find them. And I'm hoping that, given that it's the 20s again, so people are back into the mentality of the roaring 20s, especially after COVID, once Delta calms down and we can go, have parties again, that this might be a brand that comes back.
Yeah.
Hoping, crossing my fingers, because I really love
maybe.
dress.
Yes, I agree. So, and then I have this one. So this came with a little story. I actually posted about it. I posted about it in the thrifting board. So go over there and see my post about it. But a little lesson with this, and I was shocked that it sold for as much. Kind of shocked much that it sold for as much the second time around. So I sold this. Long story short, I sold this vintage fabric it was Waverly, which does hold its value, and you should not undersell. And this is a lesson for that too. So I took a best offer of $135 plus shipping the first time around. And after about a month of having it, she opened up a return saying that it wasn't as described because it didn't match other vintage fabric that she had. But when you're trying to match vintage fabric to vintage fabric, there's different dye lots, there's different storage conditions. One could have been faded, could have been the one that she had. It could have, there's so many variables that it's going to be pretty impossible to match exactly. Being said, I took the return. She took about a month to ship it back. So I was a little annoyed at that point, but I decided so I paid shipping there and back, and it was £8. I had undersold the shipping the first time. I had undercharged. It did fit in a medium flat rate, so it wasn't that big of a deal. So the second time around, I decided, you know what? I think I undersold this fabric. It's definitely worth it. It holds its value. So, and I had 8 yards of it. So I sold it. I took a best offer for $225, and I increased the shipping price. So that's a $90 difference between the first time around and second time around.
It's amazing.
So that is a lesson for all of us who get bought.
Yeah. And Heather says that's not as described. You should have not paid shipping.
Not bad.
Totally agree.
Yeah, I agree. I just wanted to get it over with. I was like, maybe I could have fought it, but it just didn't seem worth it to me. So,
and it worked out for you in the end.
Yes, it did. So we have 1,022 subscribers as of today. So we hit our 1K mark and then went over some. And I have to thank some friends. I have to thank Jason and Aaron and Matt and Craig and Rick who promoted us. And, we're trying to help us get over that 1K hump. So, and thank you to all of you guys, all of our subscribers and all of our viewers, because we wouldn't be here without you. So we are going to, probably in September at some point, do a show, like a 1K anniversary, 1K show. And yesterday was also our 2-year anniversary. So we've had this channel for 2 years now. So yeah, so wild. Awesome. So I think we're going to go back and maybe celebrate, do some tips from some of the past episodes. If you guys have any ideas you want to shoot at us, let us know.
Yeah.
And then,
We definitely want to put a lot into making it a special episode. So we're going to do it a little after the fact, a little after our birthday, but I think it'll be worth it.
for sure. And then I wanted to just let everybody know I am a graphic designer. I am taking work for packages on your logo, banner, store design, any marketing materials you need. And I am doing discounts for my online seller friends. So, and then next week we are doing a thrift haul because Lolo is just on vacation and she has some great things to show. So we're going to be doing that next week. I might have a few things to show as well.
I did share a couple sneak previews, but I have lots more stuff I picked up last week, so it'll be fun.
Very cool. And I don't have the art up for our, but we did just do a video. If you go on our channel, we did just do a video on eBay Open, our feedback on it. So go to our channel and check that out when you get a chance. We just went live yesterday. And moving on, I will delve right into it. So the first item this is actually number 3, is flatware. So mid-century flatware tends to be, a lot of it tends to have like the wooden teak handles that you see. Some of it has like Bakelite handles. A lot of it though is very minimalist and, you know, modern and utilitarian. So you can see, if you just go on Pinterest, you can see some examples there. But I also have some solds here. So, whoops, that's not there. And we are a little bit slow here. Okay. All right, it's coming up in a second. All right, so here is one so this is an Arne Jacobsen, Denmark. So you'll see a lot of Danish, Denmark things. Dansk is another brand that sells really well. I mean, you're not always going to find a $3,500 set like this, but they are out there in the stores at estate sales. So look for them. You'll see like this one kind of has like some ornate handles, and this is Stanley Roberts, and this is Japan. So you'll see a lot of Japan and Danish. Mm-hmm. And this set sold for $89. So keep your eyes out for sure.
So I assume any of these flatware, if you even found a couple pieces that maybe someone's looking for to complete their collection, if they've lost something through the years, that there would still be a market for that, correct?
Yeah. So even if it's not a whole set, so these are examples of whole sets, but even if it's not a whole set, like this one for $600, this is Dansk. You want that brand. But it doesn't mean that, you know, if you find 1 or 2 pieces that it's not going to sell, because like Lola just said, they might want to be completing their set. So yeah, so for sure. There's another set. There was one with wooden handles here that was really cool. Here it comes. And I do apologize. Everything is taking a second here. This one. So this is like very kind of rustic, more rustic looking. And this sold for $149.99. They did have it in the box, but you know, you get the idea there. Like there's an example of a different kind of look there. So yeah, so definitely look out for those mid-century flatware pieces. Here's another one with and these are just 6 knives that sold for $100. So,
oh, those are beautiful too. Not what I would expect from steak knives.
Exactly. So, and then our next one, I have my tabs out of order here, Lola. So.
Okay. Heather says Bakelite handles. That's a great tip.
Yes,
next item is MCM Clocks.
Okay. Yeah. So I did put the links for everything in the part 1 of this episode. I can copy them over to part 2. But if you go to YouTube for the part 1, there are. So this is just an idea of what to look for, the silhouettes, the kind of things to look for in mid-century clocks. You'll see a lot of the atomic starburst designs, and it also talks about some of the brands, George Nelson. I know West Clock is one, and Howard Miller. There's some brands to look for, so that's a great resource. And this is another one here. Oh. Yeah, so this is it's called Cherish. This is another one that has some great you know, just to get an idea of the designs of them. And we have some solds here too. I actually have one if I don't. Okay. Yeah, so here's one. This is a West Clock Atomic Starburst. There's another one. This one is awesome. That sold for $13.6. Wow. Yeah, which is insane. And there's another one that's a Starburst one that sold for $6.75. That was Sputnik Interiors. And then this one is, this sold for $549.99 just for a little desk clock. Yeah, so that's a George Nelson clock. So look for that. That was Howard Miller, George Nelson. And then here's another one that's George Nelson. So this is one that I have for my, it's a little beat though. I do need to
put you up on the screen.
So it's a little beat. I got this at Philly Aid Thrift. The $4.99 stickers are still on there. So these things are so sharp. They are like, you could hurt yourself on it. Yeah. But I have to bend these back in shape. And then the face is missing one of the gold. You can see
yeah. So it's not perfect.
No, it's definitely not perfect. But I think somebody might want, you know, that knows about, it does work. I did put a battery in and it does work, but it's in beat up shape. So I'm thinking that somebody, I only paid $5 for it, but I'm thinking that it probably will still have some value. Somebody and somebody maybe can restore it, you know.
Yeah, definitely. Or can't afford the full price ones, but wants that aesthetic and is happy to live with a few flaws.
Precisely. Yeah. So you never know.
It's amazing how much these clocks are still worth, given that we usually just tell time with our phones nowadays.
Isn't that funny? Yeah, that's true.
So our next item is mid-century ephemera.
Yeah, so ephemera is, do you want to explain what ephemera is?
Yeah, ephemera is anything that is not really meant to last. So things that are not, maybe usually if you had it in your possession, you would throw it away. So like a matchbook is a great example, or a map, anything that's paper, different brochures, things like that. But once they're saved, they can be really great insights into the way life was back during a certain era. So they really kind of capture what it was like to live during mid-century. And for that reason, A, the fact that many people discarded them when they were new, and B, that people are enamored with the, you know, mid-century era and aesthetic, make them sought after by collectors.
Definitely. So I know Jason sells matchbooks. He does a lot of tiki swizzles and stuff like that. Postcards, like Heather said in the chat, napkins, and Jess, when we had Jess on, she was talking about the vintage ads, like the magazine ads. So that's another example. So here's a matchbook, one matchbook that sold for $20. And sometimes you can get these like in a baggie at estate sales. Sometimes they have like the fishbowl things, you know, filled with them. And so here's,
you can find them on the wall in the thrift store when they have the baggies on the wall. Sometimes those will have things like that.
Yep. And sometimes one matchbook can pay for the whole lot and then more. Yeah. So, and then, so this is a book, a mid-century modern decorating book, Better Homes and Gardens, that sold for $59.99. And some of these pictures are awesome. And here I actually use this for some of the art that I did for the show. And you can see like some of the, just so cool. I mean, look at that wall. Like, look at that. That's insane. So yeah, I love some of the decor. Great pictures. So that's the kind of thing that you can find now. $59.99. You know that probably sold for like $1 back in its day.
So. Oh yeah, I've picked up things like that from flea markets for like $1 or $2, and they're sought after by collectors and home interior designers who are looking for those kind of sources of inspiration. Lots of people are looking for you know, pictures of how people decorated. So that is a great question.
Yes, we can ship them. I know Jason probably can give some more specifics in the chat because he has shipped way more matchbooks than I have. But yeah, they can ship. I know, like, I would probably just bubble wrap, and not put the back to back, if I'm selling multiples, not put the ignite strip back to back.
Yeah.
But yeah,
make sure that you're not going to allow that to cause any friction. But I would be less worried about shipping matchbooks than like, batteries or something where there's more specific like guidelines. But Jason, if you're in the chat and have advice, definitely. Yeah. Okay, technically you have to remove the match heads. Really?
Well, technically. Okay. Got it. Okay. So, yeah, here's a book a furniture book that sold for $46. That's like more of like a like a paperback kind of thing. This is a gourmet magazine from 1954, vintage cooking, and it says right on there, great ads. Now, I bet they could have just sold some of the ads and pieced it out and sold it for more, because they sold the whole magazine for $9.35. So, like if you watch Jess, I bet they could have, maybe pieced out some of those ads, but yeah, still not bad. And then here's an ad that sold for $6, but still, that's one ad. Some of them go for a lot more. This was pretty cool. This was an annual, like a graphic magazine kind of thing, which caught my eye as a graphic designer. I love that mid-century modern art. So, and then, okay, so this was a catalog, a decorating catalog. So that went for $20.
Yeah, and people will look for those just for the color swatches and things like that.
Yep. This was a souvenir tour with a booklet with postcards in it from the Anheuser-Busch brewery from the 1980s.
Very cool.
Yeah, so that sold for $20. Any individual postcards, we did a postcard episode as well, so you can see that. There's so I know Jenny would love this one. So vintage cards, just vintage greeting cards, without the envelopes even, they'll sell to greeting cards. That one sold for $5, but it was just one greeting card. You can get those like in big bags at the thrift stores. So, and then here's one. This, of course, I had to show this because it has a giraffe on it. So this, yeah. So this was, and this is kind of cool because they did like vintage Cedar Point Amusement Park envelopes, postcards, receipts from 1969. So that was probably sitting in somebody's basement or attic for years, and they found it with the receipts, and they just sold the whole thing. So it goes to show you, like, even paper receipts are.
Yeah, and Cedar Point, of course, is a famous amusement park. So there are people who collect things related to roller coasters and amusement parks around the country. So definitely something that a collector would be thrilled to find that.
Jason should recognize this because it is his listing. So this is so he sold a bunch of, and he talked about this in one of the episodes. I think we had him on a guest, or he talked about it on his show too. He bought a bunch of reels and the Viewmaster reels, and he just sold like the extra instructional booklets just without the reels. A lot of them for $18.47. So I mean, that was just the booklets. And then this is so these are pretty cool. These are this is also Jason's listing. So this shows like the cocktail stirrers of the swizzle sticks. And I know that he also collects those, and like from tiki bars and whatnot. So that's another thing to look out for. So
very cool.
Yeah. So, and then napkins, vintage napkins. These sold for $39.67 for just some vintage napkins. So
yeah, generally anything from hotels that have the hotel branding on them. So like those napkins or swizzle sticks, like you mentioned, if you find hangers with the hotel name or different luggage tags like that, all of that stuff.
Yep.
Is sought after.
So there's some more swizzle sticks. So, you get the idea. Things that you can pick up easily at thrift stores, at estate sales, garage sales. And maybe even in your own attic or your parents' or grandparents' attic.
Ready for the next
number 6
item?
is yes.
Danish Furniture.
Okay, so yeah, so any mid-century furniture is going to sell, but there is a specific style of mid-century that's very Danish, very a lot of teak wood, a lot of wood, a lot of what would you describe it as, Lola?
I would say a little bit more like minimalist and streamlined, and then an emphasis on like the material. Yeah.
Those are really good words. Yeah, so this is Hans Wagner. This is a brand that is for Charles Hansen and Son, Denmark. So that's right there. That shows you one of the brands that will sell. But I mean, this set sold for somewhere in the neighborhood of $12,000 for 10 shares. Yeah. Now, if you might want to consider selling them locally. They have shipping and they're $795. So I guess you'd have to do like some kind of freight shipping or something. But heck, if you're going to get that kind of money, I would figure out the shipping.
Right. Exactly. I'm sure whoever bought this was not too concerned about what the shipping was going to cost.
Exactly. So this is Hans Olsen from Roge. I think I probably butchered that name, but this is the Danish teak dining table and chairs. Went for $2,500. And yeah, so you'll see like the sleek profile, how those chairs, fit under the table. This is Frank Lloyd Wright. This is a Heritage Henrendon. This one sold for $3,500.
So was that Danish or was that just Danish inspired?
I think it was just Danish inspired, yes. So some of these are more Danish inspired in the style. This is Hans Olsen again, $750 for a rocking chair. This is now here's a napkin holder that has that style. So it's not just furniture, it's Danish items in general. So I did put this one in there. This is Solandia Designs, and it is, and just the napkin holder went for $29.95. That's something that you can find in the household section at the thrift store, right next to the dollar store items and all the junk that might be there. So
if you're lucky,
you never know. So. And then this one is, there we go. So this is a set of side tables, and they went for $680. Very simple, very minimalist. And then this kind of goes into the realm of furniture, but it is a rug. There it is. This went for $1750. So this is mid-century Danish. So
that's beautiful. Yeah.
It is gorgeous. Yeah. So it also kind of goes into, rugs and other items a little bit. And then here's a credenza cabinet that sold for $399.95, which isn't as much, but still I will take it. It wasn't like one of the high-end brands, but that one doesn't come up now. So these links are 2 weeks old, so some of them are
right.
Okay, so our next one is
this one's more specific.
Yeah, George Briard. So, okay. So George Briard does, so I have a couple in-hand examples. Maybe we'll.
Oh, I'll bring you up.
Yeah, so this is,
I found a beautiful tray when I was in New Hampshire, and I almost bought it, and I regret not buying it, but I left it behind because it wasn't signed. So it was sort of like a knockoff, similar idea. But it was really pretty, and I wish I had just gotten it anyway.
There's a lot of gilded gold pieces that are like this. This is actually an insert for an ice bucket, and I do have the matching glass. I didn't pull it all out because I didn't want it, because I would break it. So you'll see that they are signed, and so that's what they look like. I have sold glasses before. I have a tray here that I probably knocked over or something because I don't see it.
Oh no, hope it didn't break.
I don't know what. Oh, it's over here. Yeah, I knocked it over. Let me grab it.
Jason says, "Don't break the ice bucket."
I know. Well, that's why I didn't. I just pulled out the ice bucket and I didn't unwrap all the glasses and all, because I was like, I'm not doing that. And the ice bucket stand is separate. So,
great.
All right. So here's my
beautiful
tile tray, and I did show on our thrift haul a couple weeks ago. I had a glass tray that was like a 2-section tray. So this, you can see it's signed. This is one of the tile. These don't go for as much, but they're just so awesome, So, okay, back to my screen. I will show you what does sell really well. So if you do a general search for George Briard, you will see you'll see like some crazy prices. So these name your poison glasses are like the holy grail, really, because they sell for a lot. But there's also other things. There's like a trolley cart, bar cart, and in George Briard, I would pick up because I know you have some cool owl glasses. I sold that set, and I know I undersold it, which is disappointing.
Yeah. So the owl glasses, Heather actually said in the chat, George Briard doesn't sell as well as others like Culver. And these.
Oh, okay. Maybe those were Culver. I'm sorry.
So these are Culver. Yeah. So this is a great example of a Culver glass.
Yeah. Okay.
And I think Heather's definitely correct. Culver goes for more. I have much easier time finding George Briard. So in terms of a bolo, I feel like it's a little bit easier to pick up and still worth it.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I would agree with you on the Culver. I got those mixed up in my head. I sold that set and I undersold it, and I'm so mad. Those owl glasses. It was a few years ago, but I know that I sold them. Like they sold right away, and I was like,
oh, that's the sign. You know, you could have done better. Yeah.
So this is here's a set that's pretty cool. This sold for $283.87. So yeah, these are soup kind of like, they kind of remind me of the Andy Warhol kind of. So right in there with that era. So these name your poison glasses are pretty much the holy grail for George Briard. These are just whiskey glasses. Sorry, I do have the name your poison glasses, but these are just whiskey glasses.
They're so very cool.
So you can see like the ornate gold on them. There. Those sold for $349.99. I think yeah. And I am sorry, things are taking a second to load again. Here we go. So these are the Name Your Poison highball glasses. So you are looking for these. Now, even if you find one individually, someone will have broken one in their set and they will buy it and they will sell for quite a bit. So this set sold for $675. I think it could have even gone for more possibly, but these are definitely the holy grail if you're looking for George Briard items.
Yeah, they're obviously tricky to photograph. I see why that person used a black background, but it was also the whole photo was very dark. So I might use something like a dark gray that allows the whole photo to be a little bit brighter. Yeah, it might help with the price.
Yeah. So I think, this kind of goes back into ephemera, but these are napkins, cocktail napkins, and this set sold for $25. So I did not know that. I guess George Briard did everything. I know that there's coasters, there's, so there's everything is out there. It's just, now here's one. Okay. So here's one glass that sold on Poshmark, just one glass that sold for $125. So that's why I'm saying, I think that person that sold the whole set underpriced it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Heather says Culver Valencia glasses, which I'm not, yeah.
So that specific style, I definitely need to get more familiar with Culver. Yeah.
There's a bar cart, and
I love that bar cart.
Yeah, very cool. And then this is a whole bar set. So I know I've seen these, advertised at estate sales and whatnot. So yeah.
A good tip. Stuff the glasses with tissue paper so you can see the design. Yeah.
I think Jason was talking about he put sand in them. Is that correct, Jason? You put colored sand. I know milk is another option. So you can fill the glasses. Yeah, I would definitely fill them with something light though, because otherwise you can't see the pattern. You can't. So, okay. And our next one, is it Fabric is our next or Figurines? My tabs are all out of order, so I can't see. Okay. Going on to Fabric. Okay. So, alrighty. So I do have a couple pieces of fabric here too. So this is bark cloth. So you're looking, so bark cloth is cotton. It has a texture. It's a textured cotton, and you can see if I can zoom up there. You can see the texture there in the fabric. That is always going to sell well. So this piece, I don't know how much was there. I don't see the quantity, but it went for 81.5 inches. So yeah, so it wasn't like a ton of fabric, and that sold for $382. So don't ever undersell your fabric, especially if it's good vintage.
They're giving a weird measurement. If you're selling fabric, you always want to put it in yards, not inches, because people will be confused and thrown off by getting the inches measurement. I mean, you can do the conversion in your head, but definitely if someone's skimming through listings, you don't want to make them do that.
Yes, so we're thinking in yardage, not in inches. So for sure. We talked in our Lily Pulitzer episode, and we did a fabric episode too. So go back to that. We talked about Susie Zuzak fabric and the Key West hand print, which is a Lily Pulitzer. So any vintage Zuzak, Key West, or Lily Pulitzer, it's all the one and the same pretty much. It all sells. So. And then this is upholstery fabric that you get the idea. They have tiki in the keywords. I don't know if I'd really call that tiki, but it is like, it looks like it's kind of, I don't think it's bark cloth. It's upholstery fabric. It's thicker, but it's definitely got that mid-century look and feel to it. So, and then this was a cool design, a lot of really poppy mod designs. So this sold for $27, I think, and that was per yard. Okay, so Vesta Gentris is another one to look for, and I can't see what this sold for on WorthPoint, but I know it went for a lot. I undersold. I had a few yards of Vesta Gentris a few years ago. I sold it for $150, and boy, did I undersell that. That's another one I could kick myself for because it sold immediately, and I know I could have gotten at least double for it. So
yeah, Vesta Gentris is one of my holy grails. I found a couple dresses and I've never found fabric. So hopefully someday, I think if I ever found it, I would probably keep it and use it, or maybe just like never use it and keep it in my stash. But I love the prints. They're so fun.
And then these, they didn't have the best pictures really, but it still sold for somewhere in the neighborhood of $4.95. So, and then I have a couple in hand examples here that they're all florals, but these are just, this is just a remnant. It's a yard, nothing, nothing, but I can still probably get, 20 to $30 just for that piece. This is upholstery fabric. It does have like a texture. It's not bark cloth. You can see that it is woven and not knit because you have the frayed ends there. That's, so this is mid-century too. I have a couple yards of that. That'll probably go for like $30. And then this is mid-century as well. You can see, like, you can tell by the colors, the prints. This is polyester. It's probably like more like late 60s, but it is Westco Reltex. So look for that for sure. And our next one is
MCM Art.
Okay, so yeah, so this is a guide to mid-century modern art. A lot of it was very abstract, very kind of, more, a lot of it was more abstract, a lot of pop art, like the famous Warhol soup cans that we talked about. So you can get an idea there, but it's also sculpture. There's a lot of like teak wood of even you can even get into like some of the frames and stuff. So, and then here, so paint by numbers are always something to look for. And this paint by number, and these are done by amateurs. They were not expensive in their day. They are relatively plentiful in thrift stores if you keep your eye out. This one sold for $61. It was framed, but even if they're not framed and they're just on the cardboard back, they're still worth something. So,
would Jason disagree with calling that tiki, or does that fit?
I think it's probably, he would probably say it's like tiki adjacent. If I'm right, I don't want to.
If you're still in the chat, feel free to answer.
Yeah. So this is Alberto Menosal. I am butchering that name. So this is from the 50s, 60s, and this is a great example of abstract art, the kind of stuff that you're looking for. Even if they're not by famous, well-known artists, even amateur art will sell. So that one sold for $720. This one, $345. You get the idea. It's very abstract. Yeah, that's what I thought. Adjacent. So, and then the black velvet paintings are another thing that sell very well. They're not always like, some of them aren't framed, some of them are, but they always go, they don't go for a whole lot, but I bet they could have even gotten more for this one. It went for $50, but I would say it's a good $100 usually if you find a good one. And even like just odd portraits like this, mid-century portraits like this. Now this is just a print, so it's not going to go for as much. But even if you find something like that, people will buy it.
Mm-hmm.
And then this is an example. They said Whitco style, so. But it's a teak wood wall art, so that's another example. And then of course, like there's sculpture and a lot of other things too. So this, yeah, I have this here that I had shown before. So this is just like amateur art. It's nothing but it's definitely mid-century. It's one of my giraffes, my famous giraffes. But if I were to sell this, I bet I could get a decent $40 or so for it. Mm-hmm. So. And our last one is figurines. So here is one. So
I just wanted to point out. So Heather's pointing out a couple things that we've gone over that are better classified as mid-century and not specifically mid-century modern. But I do think,
right.
Yeah, I do think that in terms of using MCM as a keyword, unfortunately, a lot of people use it in a kind of blurry way. And so it is used on listings to apply to anything that's from that era. So if you want to be extremely precise, yes, Heather, definitely. There are a couple of things here that are mid-century, not MCM, but if you want to reach the right buyers, then sometimes it does make sense to include it on items that are a little bit more of a technically not.
Very good point. And technically, this is more of a mid-century items show that, the bolos that we're showing, and not just.
Yes, we do, and I get upset. Yes. Sorry, I can tell you're getting upset, and I'm sorry that we're not being more precise, but I do think it makes sense to think about, I mean, maybe we should have called this mid-century and not MCM, but a lot of these items will appeal to the same buyers. So. Right.
And when we do YouTube videos, we are going for keywords in our videos to get, because we want viewers, and MCM is a very popular used keyword and hashtag. So, but Heather, you are correct. So, this is, oh, sorry, I scroll down here. Okay, so this is a cat. This is very mid-century, maybe not mid-century modern, but mid-century.
Very kitsch, yeah.
Very kitsch, yeah. So, so you can see
we love you too, Heather.
MCM in all of these. So, and then, yeah, this was this was a cool like a bird figure that sold for $75. This is cool. So you have something similar that I gifted you.
Yes, you gave this to me for my birthday. I think it was a couple years ago, and awesome. He hangs out on my bar cart with the bourbon. So very similar to the one that you showed.
Yeah. Yes. So definitely.
He has a couple nicks on his ears. I think one of them is because one of my real cats knocked him over, but he's still fine. He doesn't mind too much.
And so here in this one, you'll see they have on this is a brass, and we talked about brass figurines in one of our episodes. I think it was our home decor trends. So they are trending now. And again, they have, this is mid-century, not MCM, I would say, but again, they have mid-century and MCM in the keywords. He only sold for $19. Some of them will sell for more. And I have two figurines here. This kind of borders more on art, I think, but it is, and it's nicked, unfortunately. It's it is kind of like it's really, I think it's religious. I think it's like a Madonna.
Yeah,
but it's definitely MCM. It's very, it's got that whole look and feel. I will eventually list it. I'd like to try to fit. It's got a full nick in it, which is unfortunate, but I think somebody would still be interested in it. And then I have this. If I don't break it. So this is actually made in Brazil. Now a lot of them will be marked made in Japan, but this is another example of a horse. It's got but there are so many figurines and figures and things like that to look for. Oh, one more thing I wanted to show, and this kind of, I'm gonna break something. Okay, so this kind of goes for like kind of ephemera, kind of something that we didn't talk about, but vintage wallpaper is always something that's plentiful at the bins too. And I mean, I think I found this at the bins, actually. It's Richard Thiebaud, and it is definitely mid-century. So keep an eye out for that as well.
Yeah. And we do have a really good question in the chat, which maybe we should have started off with. But what is the difference between MCM and mid-century? So mid-century would be anything that's from the mid-century era. So 40s, 50s, 60s. And mid-century modern is specifically going to be that aesthetic of the very streamlined, sort of inspired by retrofuturism, and invested in new developments in science and technology. So that's where you have a lot of like atomic shaped objects that kind of lend them or call upon some of those shapes. I'm not doing a great job of explaining. In addition to very simplified forms, very geometric. So I hope, Heather, please, if you want to chime in with a better, more eloquent explanation, please feel free to do so. But so that's the difference. MCM is a very specific aesthetic, and mid-century is that time period overall.
Right. So we have our market report. Let's see. There we go. Okay. So Lola, you are up first.
Okay. Yeah, I have a couple sales this week. This one was, take down the banner. This one was a item that Nay actually sent me a while ago with a bunch of extra inventory that Nay wanted to pass along to me. I didn't actually have it listed for that long. It took me a while to get it listed, and it did have a small flaw. So hopefully the buyer did notice it in the photos. I did disclose it. And so it hasn't been accepted yet because I sold it on Poshmark. Hopefully it will be fine. Didn't even take an offer, and was happy with that price given that it had a small flaw. So
and it's a minimum flaw. Like you can see, you took a good picture of it. It was so where the tag was attached, and there might have been, I bet there was a thrift store barb there or something at one time, or a brand tag, the original tag from the store, and somebody pulled it maybe. But and then these you sold, and I love how you did like the kind of Dorothy Wizard of Oz.
Yeah. So I just so happened to have this vintage wallpaper. It's in terrible shape. I actually just ended up recycling it because it was really brittle. Like it wasn't worth selling, but it made a perfect backdrop for these amazing ruby slippers. So these shoes were in pretty worn shape. I tried to disclose all the issues as well as I could, but they're great for, a kid dress up or someone who's playing a part in the Wizard of Oz, something like that. So, or Halloween's coming up, different places where you wouldn't necessarily care that they're a little beat up. So I hope the person who bought them loves them. I'm really curious what they'll wear them for. And again, haven't gotten them accepted yet. So hopefully everything will be fine with it. But
yep. Yeah, very cool. And these are from my sales. These are from last week. So this one I sold. So I sold this twice as well. So this one I did actually not do as well the second time around, but so the first time, so I took an offer. I think I sold it for like $50, like a couple dollars more the first time around. They returned it because they didn't realize how thin it was. I did make sure that I put it in the description that it wasn't, super heavy, that it was more of it's insulated, but it's like a lightweight jacket. This time I think the sale has stopped because it's been a couple weeks now. And I did accept a best offer, $48 plus shipping, but really not bad for this time of year. It was from a blue box. Back when the jacket blue box was $40 for 4 jackets. Now it's gone up in price. So I paid about $10 for it. So not bad. And then this was a great Depop sale. So this was from a local thrift store. I sold this for $75.
Great sale.
Plus shipping. Yeah, so it was a vintage. The brand is John White's. It was nautical. It had some really great. It was a great design. It was a medium too. So a men's medium. Buttons are really super cool. you can see there the detail on the buttons, and there's the label. So yeah, so I put it up for $75. They didn't make an offer. They just bought it outright plus shipping, and I was happy with that. So
now, I'm not familiar with that brand. Is that a high-end brand in general?
they make a lot of, I've seen a lot of men's ties in that brand. So I think they did kind of like casual dress shirts, ties, like that kind of thing. I actually have a John White's tie in my listing queue somewhere. So yeah, so I don't know if I think it really sold more of the style and the era over the brand, but still I was surprised too to get $75 out of a medium, but that is the place to sell it because Depop has those tiny hipsters that are going to buy it. So yeah, so this is our breaking thrifting news. We have a few stories for you today. So first of all, Poshmark is going to be branching out to India. If it comes up, they are going to, so they've expanded their market to India, which I'm so, like, now the CEO is Indian. So I think maybe, delighted to be bringing Poshmark to my home country, said Manish Chandra, founder and CEO of Poshmark. So what's your take on this?
I think it's going to be really interesting to see how Poshmark grows now that it's expanding into different countries. And I think one of my big hopes is eventually they'll figure out how to allow us to like sell internationally. And maybe once they have presence in more countries, that'll be possible. So
let's hope.
We'll just have to keep an eye on it.
And in like news, eBay has plans for Mexico, its biggest Latin American market. So Mexico was apparently 4th fastest growing e-commerce market in the world last year. So yeah, so that's really, really surprising. So what do you think about that one?
I mean, same. I guess I think it's really interesting to see these articles coming up kind of right back to back, because it sounds like but multiple platforms are realizing that e-commerce is absolutely global, and that, focusing on the US maybe is not the whole story, and that there's growth opportunities everywhere. And if there's growth opportunities in other countries, hopefully that means that for us, and most of our viewers I think are in the US, and I know a bunch of you are in Canada, but this could mean more customers no matter where they are in the world. So I think that's really cool and exciting.
Absolutely. So, and this is a fun story. So Fred Durst of Limp Bizkit, if you know who he is. So he found a bootleg figurine of action figure, I guess, kind of thing of him. And it was totally bootleg, but he wanted it so bad. So he bid it up and he lost, and he was super bummed about it, which is hilarious. So it ended up going for, it sold, his max bid was $415 and he came up short, and it went for $680 after 40 or 50. Yeah. So he said he lost his quote was, "I lost the auction on this illegal toy." And he has showed a screenshot. I think there's a screenshot of it here. And he said, still, things are good. It's just really funny, but pretty cool. Here's what the action figure looked like. Yeah, this is what he posted. Sorry, he actually posted the screenshot from eBay that said, "Sorry, you missed out on this item. I lost the auction on this illegal toy. Things are good." Really. Yeah, so it sold for $680 plus $990 shipping, and unfortunately, Fred Durst did not win it.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, really funny. And we have a question for you. So we want to know, what is the one MCM or mid-century? I should have for Heather. I should have clarified there. Item that you are always looking for while thrifting, and let us know in the comments. And as always, you can find us everywhere. I am Thrifting on most platforms. Lola is Run Lola Run, and I am Colbray Asterisk Dazzle, or Colbray's Dazzling Finds on eBay, and Lola is Low2-Spy. And email us at nalothrifts@gmail.com if you have an idea for an upcoming video, if you want to be a future guest, or if you have any input for our future shows.
Yeah. And we'll see you next week.
Yes, the 20th, next Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific with a thrift haul. See you then.
Bye.
Have a great week, everybody. Bye.